Go.
Hi there, I'm Lou.
Hi, John.
And welcome to the series on clarification.
Yep.
This one is really, really important, and that is, when is it right to come out of secrecy?
Yes.
So short answer to that is, as soon as you can, but in the right way.
Yes.
Can I talk a little bit about the secretive world?
I think one of the things I have to say is that addiction thrives in secrecy.
Yeah.
What happens with most people when addiction comes into their lives is that their boundaries start to sort of shrink. They don't tell people, because there's a lot of guilt and shame about it. So they don't tell their neighbours, they don't tell their friends, they don't tell their relations, and very often people don't realise that there's so many other people in exactly the same position as they are. They think they're alone in this one, and it's perfectly understandable.
And probably when you were looking for us, if you were looking for it, if anyone came to the room, probably shut your computer immediately, just go on to something else. We feel the thought of our partner knowing that we're daring to look for help. In itself feels like a betrayal. This is the beginning of the secrecy. If you love your partner or your child or whatever, the fact that you are owning to yourself that they've got a problem, to start doing that feels as if you're dropping them in it. Feels as if, it's a horrible thing to do, because you're basically saying, my partner's really in a terrible state, and so that in itself, that's a hurdle to get over before you even begin.
Yeah, but it's not only a case of my partner's in a terrible state. It's I married somebody who's in a terrible state, and that the reflection on me as well. So there is that. So should you come out of secrecy? Absolutely, but you have to look at the reasons why you come out of secrecy. It's not just to disclose. It's not just to name and shame. It's about getting help. It's about getting help for you. Will it help the situation, or will it exacerbate the situation? And you have to look at these questions.
Yeah.
So will it help the situation? Yes, it'll help you for a start. It'll help you as a partner of a drinker to be able to actually talk to somebody, to unload, to be able to say things that you probably couldn't say to your drinker. And
we get sucked into the drinker's secretive world.
Absolutely.
Actually, watch that you're not keeping secrets from yourself, because we can come into a little denial. The thought of actually having an alcoholic as a partner or a mum or as a child and everything, that just feels awful. So often you start off by keeping that secret from yourself. You don't look at what's going on.
Yes.
So that is a secret you have to break. You have to kind of, understand, and it's a hard thing to do, that, something's going on here, which is very real and very kind of worrying.
Yeah.
In terms of disclosure, the first place you can do it is on the website, kind of in the forum.
Yeah, that's why things like Al-Anon work, because you go and talk to people who are in exactly the same position as them.
Yeah.
So therefore there's less shame about it. And that really helps. So it's the same thing on the website.
Yeah, be aware, if you participate on the forum, if somebody does post, it might be the very first time they've ever plucked up courage to speak. So be very respectful and honouring of each other, because often the forum is the first step of the journey out of secrecy.
Yeah, and also if you are posting on the forum, it's a closed forum.
Yeah.
It's a closed website. Only members can see what you write in there. On the outside of the website, if you put a comment on the blog page, then that's a different thing.
Yeah.
But on the inside, in the forum, it's closed.
So, coming out of secrecy is breaking the denial, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, the obvious place to go, I suppose, because it's a confidential place, is to go see a counsellor. But again, that can keep the whole thing really wrapped up and contained in an inappropriate way, can't it?
Yeah. If you have a friend who is a good listener, rather than a good fixer, then that can be really useful.
That's a good thing to say. It's a good listener.
Yeah, because some friends will just go, leave them, get out, It's not really what you want to hear at that moment. What you want is somebody who just says, yeah, sorry to hear that, and just listens to you and lets you speak.
And, obviously, if you're being, kind of really badly abused by your drinker and they say, get out, listen to that sort of friend. Yeah. But what you run the risk of if you disclose to people that love you is that they then gang up on your drinker, which doesn't always help the dynamics of what's going on. So it might be helpful before you speak to a family member, just to say, I need to tell you something, but I'd be really grateful if you didn't just go into blaming and withholding from this person that I love, because that's just going to put more strain on. And people might not understand that, So again, coming out of secrecy is not just a policy, but it has a practical kind of application to that.
Yeah, it's about helping yourself here, it's about empowering yourself, because if you have to sort of keep this as a secret, it can just, it starts to do your head in after a while, and if you've got nowhere to let it out, then it becomes very difficult. So if you've got places that you can go, you can talk to somebody, you can, go for a walk, go for, a lunch with them, then that makes it an awful lot easier. It also means that you don't have to, as and here we go back to the website, you don't have to bottle it all up.
Yeah.
Which is why we called the website what we called it in the first place.
And for clarification, coming out of we think of secrecy is one of the most vital steps of change. Yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, we believe it very highly, and that's why we're doing this in the series on clarification. That disclosure is key to change. I think we said that in another thing, but it absolutely is. So go on that journey, be kind to yourself. You'll find that we put things down and we say, do this, and you'll find you haven't done it. The reason I'm saying do this is because I did what you're doing now hundreds and hundreds of times. So again, be patient with yourself. But apply again, adapt, isn't it? You said recently, such a good phrase. Adapt what we're saying, not adopt, but adapt it to circumstances. One final thing, I didn't disclose for a long time because I had a job whereby my reputation in that job was quite important to me, keeping that job, and that can be a real silencer. But again, find ways where you can still talk to people, because it really isn't helpful to be kind of silenced. It's not worth the cost. It isn't worth the cost.
You have to be careful who you're talking to as well.
Yeah, I think that's really true.
And some, if you're the vicar's wife, then, disclosing to the congregation is not really very good, It's not very good for his job either. So you have to be slightly careful who you're actually talking to, and make sure that, it's people who are discreet.
Yeah, and we're saying this because if you don't take this as a journey, if you don't take steps and build it up, one day you might get to the point where you just kind of say, I'm not doing it anymore, and it all comes out. And sometimes that happens in a really inappropriate way and in a inappropriate situation. So though John was saying it a little bit tongue-in-cheek, if you don't, if you keep bottling up, what happens in the end is that you get an explosion. So, it's a wise thing to gradually learn to disclose.
The other thing about disclosure is, as I said earlier, addiction thrives in secrecy. If your drinker knows that other people know, then it's something else that starts to help motivate the change. Because if their drinking is completely secret and nobody knows about it, then why would you need to change it? But if somebody, becomes known, then that's a wee bit different.
That's a bit of an art, isn't it? Because learning to do that without dropping them in it.
Oh, I'm not talking about dropping them in it. I'm just talking about the fact that it's known beyond the four walls.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, if you've got really good friends, just talking to those really good friends and saying, this is what's happening at the moment, my drinking is becoming a little bit too important. I just want you to know, because you're really good friends of ours, but could you stick with us in the process, not get into blame and shaming, So again, there's a right way of doing things, and that's why we do these videos. That's why we're clarifying the journey, because it is important that you understand. you know, what that journey looks like and how to do it. I think.
But done right, it can help the drinker as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because the fact that the knowledge is out there helps.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the clarification. Do come out of secrecy, but do it step by step, checking out what's going on and thinking through what you're doing.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks for listening. Take care. Bye.
Bye.